So back with another video. I imagine this one will be posted a little bit after my ab workout. So hi again. I'm going to take you through some basic stretches. I found just last night, I was stretching, watching TV, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. I've lost a bit of my flexibility. Funny how that happens. So I wanted to take you through some basic stretches. Hopefully everyone should be able to do this. The thing that I always stress when I'm teaching with stretches is do what you can. You may see someone that does a complete split, pancakes flat on the floor. I can't do that. I've never been able to do that, except for maybe when I was an infant. But you can still stretch and get a good stretch and keep up that flexibility without feeling the pressure of, oh, I can't do as well as I can. Do what you can. This time especially is all about do what you can. So one of the basic ones that I always do is just legs straight. Something I stress is sitting up. A lot of people tend to sit on their tailbone, which gets this bend, and that's not going to help anything, and it's also bad posture. So you want to think about sitting up on your hip bones. It almost feels like you're sitting forward. And if you already feel this in the backs of your legs, that's fine. Just stay here. Relax, I sit on the floor when I'm watching TV, if for no other reason than to play with my rabbit Winky, and I'll sit and stretch for an ad break. And then when that ad finishes and the next ad starts, I'll do a different stretch. It's just a nice way to time yourself. You're not necessarily thinking, oh man, my legs hurt. You're just thinking, oh, another ad for a random drug that causes horrible problems and vaguely solves the things that are wrong with you. It is what it is. So you want to sit up. You will want to fold forward. What you don't want to do is think about going nose, knees, because that turns you into a ball. You want to think almost like you're trying to get your chest to your toes. So that helps keep your back straight. As soon as someone starts doing this, they're curving their shoulders, curving their back, you're ruining your posture. You want to be here. You want to get as far as you can. If you can only touch your knees, well, good on. If you can touch your shins, very good. Touch your ankles, touch your toes, touch your heels. And if you're feeling ambitious, and you want to stay here for a few seconds. The key is to not bounce, because that's how injuries and tears in your muscles occur. So you want to stay here, breathe, let your muscles relax, go from going, we're stretching to, oh, this isn't so bad, I can live with this, and just kind of relax. And you may find that the weight of your body starts dragging you down a little bit further, just as your muscles are like, oh, we're not dying, okay, we're good. I recommend holding a stretch for 20 to 30 seconds. The pain of stretching isn't the same as, like, say you put your hand on a hot burner. It's not the same. It's more of your muscles going, then you better stop. If your muscles are telling you, like, it is sharp shooting pain, you better stop, then stop. You have to listen to your body and know what you're doing. All right, so that's just a basic one there. You can do the hurdler stretch, which is just bending one leg in. You do want your knee to get on the floor. If one side is more flexible than the other, congratulations, you're human. This knee does not always like to sit on the floor. Or actually, it's this knee doesn't like to sit on the floor. This one does. This one's like, we're good. This one, no. I've always been this way. So you want to think about, again, sitting up tall. You can almost think about centering yourself towards that foot, like, aha, I'm coming for you, and then leaning forward. I have been told in the past that I am relatively flexible, so don't feel bad if I am reaching much farther than you are. Everybody's different. Everybody's life story is different. And then you want to just breathe and relax. I'm reaching with both hands. The tendency, people be like, ha-ha, I did it! And it's like, that's not really stretching. You gotta go both hands. You think about shooting farther with your other hand. That's good. That's much better. And obviously you want to do both legs, which just feels wonderful. You can think about reaching around to the side, and I'm actually feeling that in my muscles through here on the other side of my shoulder. Whereas here, it's just general reaching, but this gets a little bit extra in your upper body if you want to go for that. Personally, as far as my legs are concerned, I rarely feel this one. I don't actually think I've ever felt this one in my legs. Generally, it's my arms. But if you can think about getting that other knee down, you'll feel that in your hip a little bit. Again, if it's sharp pain, stop immediately. That's your body telling you that you need to stop. All right. Old favorite is butterfly stretch. So you're going to have your feet together. There are a couple ways you can think about this one because there are a couple different muscle groups you can think about. You can have your feet a little bit more forward and think about bending forward that way. That'll get your hip flexors to go. You can think about having your feet closer together, and think about pushing your knees down. That's going to get your groin muscles, the muscles right inside of your legs. You can think about doing both, which will get both. This one, I've never been able to get my knees to the floor, but it's always nice to have your muscles start to relax on the inside so you can actually move. I recommend stretching at least lightly before you work out, and then again after you work out to kind of cool it down. You want to get your muscles kind of ready to move, and then once they've moved, you want them to relax back so they don't get all sore and tense. Because that's where a lot of the people are like, I can't move. It's like, did you stretch after class? No. Well, that's probably why. I still get sore, but. Okay. Another one we can do is just a simple split. What I always explain to my students is you want to have your toes up. You want to feel this in your legs. If just sitting here with your good posture, again, not sitting on your tailbone, but sitting on your hip bones, if just sitting here, you feel this in your, in your groin muscles, that's fine. You're doing the stretch perfectly. If your legs aren't, complete, flat out to the sides, mine are not. They're about, we got some degrees to go. That's all right. If it helps, you can think about pushing yourself forward and get more of that stretch, and that helps. You don't have to think about leaning forward at this point. If you, like one of my students, multiple of my students, can do a complete split and just be like, yeah, I can do this for days, then they can start thinking about working it forward. Again, you're focusing mostly on your groin muscles. From here, we can focus on going to one foot or the other. Again, thinking about reaching across. So we can do it this way. Or if you want to get more of the side arm stretch, like if you've been working your arms and shoulders, or your or just your sides, these are your lats. You can think about going over and just kind of laying this arm where it will, as my hair gets in my face. And then when you come back up, you want to center yourself and then go to the other side. Again, one side you may be more flexible than the other. Try to make sure that your other leg isn't popping up off the floor when you do this. Your glute may come off the floor a little bit just because you're leaning so extremely far over, and hips can only tilt so far before they just plain can't because your body just doesn't work that way. And then when you come back to the center, your groin muscles may be like, oh, I think maybe we can lean forward a little bit. And you can just gently lean forward some. And generally just sit here, try to keep your toes up. It's a different stretch when you let your toes come forward, and honestly, I don't think it's very good for your hips. Excuse me. One last stretch I want to take us through before we finish is, so you're going to have one leg bent, and you're going to put the other foot on the other side of that knee. The other thing you can do to make this simpler is have one leg straight and just stack your leg, and you're going to hug your knee. And what you should be feeling is in your glutes. So you should feel this in your glutes, and it should stretch up a little bit. And just think about pulling your knee to your chest. Just hug your knee, because it's nice. And again, you don't want to bounce. You don't want to be like, ha, ha. No, none of that crazy stuff. That's how you get injured. No, you don't want to do that. You can switch legs. If you have any trouble with your back or you feel like you need to stretch your back, and sitting on the floor sometimes I'll start sitting poorly and my spine will need popping afterwards, which, Sam says it sounds like eggshells cracking. Everyone has pops in their joints. But what you can do is stand up, and you want to think about bending forward and just hanging. At the same time, you want to think almost like you've got strings attached to your pelvis that's pulling them up to the ceiling. That'll straighten your legs. I know a lot of people would say, like, oh, push your knees back towards the back wall. That's how you hyperextend your knees. While, yes, you are thinking about straightening your knees, it generally tends to be a little bit too hard on your knees. So think about your pelvis as being lifted up to the ceiling, and that'll straighten your legs, get a lovely stretch, and not harm your knees at all. And this tends to just help your back relax. You're stretching your legs. You're letting the weight of your body pull you down. You're not thinking about pushing. You don't need to. And just let your spine straighten in its own way. Breathing is always nice. Yes, the blood will rush to your face, but we can survive that. We just want to relax. If you're here and stretching, that's fine too. Again, most of stretching is doing what you can. So, well, good luck everyone. Stay well, stay healthy.